Here we go now.
Welcome once again to the Solo Promoter Podcast, the show that is one guy talking about tabletop pro wrestling and fighting games completely solo. This includes Filsinger Games, Legends of Wrestling, Champions of the Galaxy, Go Fight Pow, and much more. Welcome to the show. My name is Grant Bachoco. This is episode number 105. Before we get going, I want to give a special thank you to the Golden Circle channel members who help support this show and make this show possible. If you would like to become a Golden Circle channel member, you can head on over to solopromoter.com. That will take you to my YouTube page, and there will be a little button that says join, and you can click that button and you can see what's happening, where for $2.99 a month you can support the show and you can support everything that is happening with the Solo Promoter Podcast, and you will have my grateful gratitude. Well, this show we've got some fun stuff to talk about. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the feedback on the last episode about projects. I think that is one of the episodes I've had the most feedback on, so very, very cool. Very happy that it sort of resonated with people, and just thank you as always for checking it out, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I just got back yesterday morning. I just got back from GalactiCon, and I had a great time, and I'm going to talk about GalactiCon, but before that, the Friday of GalactiCon, I sat down and I recorded some audio before I got the MythWorlds 2 set. I recorded some audio that was sort of a year in review of my MythWorlds, going over my top 10s and singles and women's and tag teams and sort of a review of the cards, in my opinion, and, just talking about what I thought about the MythWorld set, and I wanted to get that on record before before the MythWorlds 2 came out. So we're going to cut to that audio here, and then we're going to come back, and I will tell you about my trip to GalactiCon, which was a lot of fun. But for right now, we're going to turn it over to Grant Bachoco, sitting in his hotel room at the Holiday Inn near the Baltimore airport, for his review of MythWorlds. Take it away, Grant.
Thank you, Grant. Appreciate it. Hello, friends. This is Grant. I'm coming to you live. Not live, via tape delay. It's 3:37 p.m. on Friday, June 27th, 2025, the eve of GalactiCon. There will be some GalactiCon festivities going on here tonight. But before we get to that, I wanted to take a moment to look back on MythWorlds, our first issue of MythWorlds, the first our first foray into MythWorlds. I saw just moments before I started recording this that MythWorlds 2 already has a little slot in the COTG online, and the official name, at least according to that, is MythWorlds Multiverse 2 MythWorlds. So there was some question about what that was going to be. But before we get to there, I wanted to take a little bit of a look back at what was GWF Multiverse 1 MythWorlds, and just kind of go card by card and give my thoughts about each character of the cards that came out, and then do just a very brief recap of how the cards did in my personal fed. So we're going to go in alphabetical order here. Anubis is the first card. Now, Anubis got a foil card not too long ago with just a little kind of tweak, a little bit of an upgrade, so he's a little bit better. This was an okay character. He was kind of middle of the road for me. He was not a character that I was super, super excited about using, but had some fun matches with, and he has sort of that precognition thing where you can force an opponent to roll again, and that came into play, but what I found was if he was wrestling someone and that person hit their finisher and then he used the precognition, most of the time the person a move or two later re-rolled their finisher. And so I guess, I mean, in that retrospect, it balanced out. But it's an okay mechanic. I just didn't see it like it wasn't this huge advantage to him. But Anubis was a good character. I think if I'm remembering correctly, he had a couple matches for the Interplanetary Championship, but wasn't able to get it all the. Oh wait, maybe he did. Hold on a second. Let me look back. I should not. I should go into my recap later. Yeah, he was. I'm sorry. He did win the Interplanetary Championship, and he held it for 5 cards. So there you go. I will try not to talk about how characters did in my Fed in specific sense as we go forward. Next up, we have Asterion. And let me tell you, Asterion, out of all the cards in the new set, was my favorite. I love the art. I love the idea. I love the character. He did not do well, which we will talk about when I go over my things. And even pairing him up with Thesis as the tag team, he didn't really do all that well, which was a bit of a bummer. But still, I like the character. I don't really see him ever sort of getting an update of anything or like getting any better. But he was a fun character to write storylines around. And one of my favorite feuds of the year, and I will mention this, was that he found out how cowboys on Earth treat cattle, and so he went after Shane, and so that was like kind of a little fun side feud, Shane versus Asterion, because at the beginning of the year, Thesis was my Galaxian champion, which we'll talk about, but so that left Asterion not in a tag team, and I thought it would be fun to have him go after Shane, even though Shane kind of beat him. It'd be interesting to put him up against Shane's newer card to see how he does. But there you go. There's Asterion. Demonicus. This character, Demon Godsend, I was never really in. He never made huge waves for me in my Fed. And as Demonicus, he kind of didn't. He was a little bit better as a tag wrestler. And so that was fine. But not really one of my favorite cards out of this set. Maybe someday I'll do like a tier list of. I think I've done that for a few sets, but for these more modern sets too. But not someone I was super excited about. The only person out of GWF Multiverse 1 Myth Worlds who was not a new card. All the other cards were new. Well, possibly. We'll talk about that in a second. Because Pinnacle might be Perfect Specimen. We haven't got confirmation of that. We might get it later here tonight when Multiverse 2 is released. But anyway, Demonica, one of my things with Myth Worlds was I felt that Pinnacle or Godsend or whoever brought too many people to the future, and I would have loved to have seen a more stripped down roster, especially since we were getting so many more new cards. And Tom has already said that Multiverse 2 is going to have a ton of new characters too, so it doesn't look like the roster is going to be thinned out anytime soon, but Demon Godsend was one that could have been left, and I wouldn't have been too heartbroken. Next, we have Deus, and Deus, I love this character, but it was a little bit of a MacGuffin because I love the Ring of Power, and the Ring of Power was able to provide me with a great storyline throughout the whole year. I had Loki, of course, wanted to get his hands on the Ring of Power, and Deus, he lost it. Kraken took it away. Loki hired Kraken to take the Ring of Power away. Kraken did, but then Kraken said he wanted to use the ring, so this set up a feud between Loki and Kraken for a little bit of time, and then Loki won that feud, and then eventually at the end of the year, Deus was able to get the ring back. But I loved that character, and I loved that, if only for bringing in the concept of the Ring of Power. So that's what I call it anyway, the Ring of Power. I don't think that's the official name of it. But so I like the character because he brought the Ring of Power to the GWF. We have Hela. Hela was fine. Hela didn't really do much in my Fed. And I'm actually going to just continue down the line and pair her up with Isis as well. Didn't really make huge waves, weren't major players in the women's Fed, had some good matches, but not really two characters who were not really I don't know, they didn't really do much for me. And especially since all the other women wrestlers came from the other multiverse or whatever from the regular GWF, it was just like an overcrowded. I try to have one or two matches, women's matches every card, but even then there were like too many women where I felt that people didn't really get a chance to shine. Loki, I've already talked about Loki. I think it's a fun character. This is actually, out of all the card art, this is not the one that I really love. And when I interviewed Tom about this set and he showed an alternate artwork, there was some alternate artwork that I absolutely loved for Loki. I don't know. This guy, he's got the hair part down the middle and a goatee, and he kind of looks like he's, put on a flannel shirt. He'd be from the 90s. And I'm talking as someone who had a goatee and my hair parted down the middle. Yeah, not when I think of Loki, not kind of who I pictured. I pictured more like that alternate artwork that Tom showed us. But certainly a fun character, and a character that I had fun with for the entire year because of the Ring of Power storyline. Pinnacle, here's what I will say. Pinnacle was most of the year spent was feuding with Havoc off-world. I kind of looked at Pinnacle as sort of pulling the strings from. He wasn't always in the main event. He wasn't always in big matches, but he was just scheming and plotting behind the scenes. And he would send Demonicus and Teth and Bloody Mary out to do his bidding. And he was just kind of toying with Havoc. And it's interesting because Perfect Specimen ended 2139 as my Galaxian champion. So when we got to Myth Worlds, I just had a tournament to crown the new champion because Perfect Specimen was gone. Now, there are some strong implications that Perfect Specimen, Pinnacle is Perfect Specimen, or some version of Perfect Specimen, or something like that. There's some strong implications about that. But I stripped him of the title because he wasn't there, and had a tournament that was won by Thesis. Pinnacle would, by the end of the year, wind up with the best record, and he wound up winning the Galaxian Championship on the last card of the year. So, it was a slow burn, but he did really, really well. Sutek, I kind of see Sutek and Anubis kind of on the same level, but I actually like Sutek a little bit more as sort of this evil schemer. I had a fun thing at one point where he kind of was trying to, since Anubis is the young wrestler, he was trying to get to train Anubis and take Anubis under his wing, but Anubis of course was saying no. And then I had Sutek trying to train iStar. And it just gave iStar something to do, and iStar wrestled him a couple times and just refused to team up with him or anything. But I thought that was just an interesting little storyline and dynamic. Teth, I like Teth better out of Teth and Demonicus, but yeah, just kind of, everyone was kind of hoping, I guess, that he would be some version of Bex, because Bex was such a great character, and he really kind of wasn't. He's got the cameras on his shoulders. I'm not 100% about that. But as I said, I liked him better out of Demonicus. They were an okay tag team together as Forbidden. And did okay. We'll get to that when we talk about the rankings. But yeah, just kind of not someone I was super, super excited about. But as I said, liked him a little bit better than Demonicus. Thesis was the first Galaxian champion of the year, which was pretty impressive. And then when he lost it and I started tagging him and Asterion forever, they just bombed out. They did not do well at all. And I kind of hope they'd done better, mostly because of Asterion. But it was really interesting to have him win the championship. And he held it for a little bit. Once the competition started getting rough, he did not do too well. But I think at the beginning, too, he had the Ring of Power, which helped him out a little bit. But after that, it was not Not fantastic. And then the final person from the set was Vale, Loki's son. Okay character. Again, not someone I was. There was just we had so many cards that it was hard for people to shine. And I really like a stripped down roster because you really can allow people to have their kind of moment in the sun. Vale had some interesting good matches, especially over the Power Ring and as a tag team as the Gods of Mischief with Loki. They did okay. They weren't great. But yeah, great card art on this. All these had great card. The Loki was the only one who I kind of didn't really care for the card art for. But there you go. There is Mythworlds 2. Just a quick my little buckshot thoughts on the cards. Let's look at the end of the year recap for my Fed. I recently, just a couple years ago, started just tracking. I track overall wins and losses, but started tracking wins and losses just for the year. And so if we look at the single standings, Pinnacle ended the year as Galaxian champ, but he also had the best record. He had 9 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw. Number 2 was Grandmaster, who had 7 wins, 4 losses. Shane had 6 wins, 3 losses. Fist had 5 wins and 1 loss. Fist at the start of the year was the interplanetary champion, which was really fun. After he lost that, he went back and reformed the Gladiators tag team with Siege. Zulfikar was kind of the runaway wrestler of the year. Probably if I was going to give a wrestler of the year award, it would be to Zulfikar because he really moved up into the main event and he was Galaxian champion for a while. His record to end out the year is 5-3 with 1 draw. Havoc tied him with 5-3 and 1 draw as well. And Havoc, I had a lot of fun with his banishment, and he'd have to challenge Pinnacle in order to try and win his way back. And his new card helped him a little bit. And then we have Freedom Fighter, who's another person like Zulfikar, moved up a little bit into not quite to the main event, but was definitely an upper mid-carder. He is currently the Interplanetary champion. He won it back. And so it was good to see him get a little bit of solo focus. We have Siege at 4-1 after that. We have Thesis the Brave at 4-1 after that. And we have Invincible Kraken at 4-2. After that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then Apex. So Invincible Kraken actually had a better, well, he tied Apex because Apex also had 4-2. But this is what I mean. I rolled out 25 cards, but because there are so many wrestlers, Invincible Kraken had 6 matches. Now, he did have some tag team matches. Apex also had some tag team matches. But this is what I'm saying is that there's so many wrestlers. Even if you roll out 25 cards and have 8 matches on each card, you're not everyone is going to get a ton of love. If we look down at the very, very bottom of the rankings, the bottom rankings are Balder with 0-5, Murtak was 0-5, and my good friend, I tried, and you can tell that I tried because of his win-loss record, Asterion the Minotaur, 0-7. So he did not have any singles victories. If we look at tag team standings, we're just going to do the champs and then the top 5. Titan Samurai ended the year as the Galaxian Tag Team Champions, and they also have the best record. They are 11-2. The Headliners came in second, and they are 9-5. Castellax, even with their new cards, they came in at 6-3. Battlefield came in at 5-3, and Gods of Mischief, that's Loki and Vale, came in at 5-6. Forbidden is right after that. Looking down at the very bottom, Total Power and Entranced, I didn't do anything with them, so they just have zeros. The Natives were 1-7. They did get 1 win. It was probably a DQ win. And Labyrinth, there you go again, Asterion and Thesis are 1-6. So not that fantastic there. Moving on to the women's rankings, Scorn ended the year as the women's champ. She started the year as women's champ. Let me double check that. No. Boy, I am off on all my stuff. She was a women's champ, but let's see. Scorn is 9-1, so she has the best record. Catfight was 6-2. Catfight did really well. Her new card did well for me. Storm was 6-3. Killer Queen was 5-4, and Crawlo was 4-5. So that is your top 5 there. Looking at the bottom, Aethrin Soldier A14 had one match and lost it, and Hyla is 1-3. See, Hyla is somebody else too that, because there's so many women wrestlers. I mean, I'm looking at this list. There's so many women wrestlers. Hyla really doesn't get a chance to shine and be in more matches. Looking at our title history, Thesis the Brave started the year as the GalactiCon champion, winning it in a tournament. He would hold it for 10 cards before he lost it to Siege, who would hold it for 10 cards before he lost it to Zulfikar. Zulfikar would hold it for 5 cards before he lost it to Pinnacle. Tag team champions, Apex and Siege, they were champions before the year started, and they held it for 7 cards. They lost it to Titan Samurai, who held it for 8 cards. The Headliners won it and only held it for 2 cards. Battlefield, probably the big surprise of the year in terms of tag team. Battlefield was Tharkus and Saber. They won the belts on 454 and lost it on 455. So 10 cards for them. And Titan Samurai beat them on the final match of the year. So Titan Samurai end the year as the tag team champions. The Interplanetary Championship, Fist started the year as champion. He held it until card 547, which was 17 cards. So one of the longer reigns in terms of Interplanetary Championship. He was a great champ. Freedom Fighter only held the belt. He beat Fist, but only held the belt for 3 cards. Anubis won the belt, only held it for 5 cards. And then Freedom Fighter got the title back from Anubis on the last card of the year. And wrapping up with the Women's Championship, Purge started the year as the champion. She only held the belt for 2 cards, losing it on card 530. Bloody Mary won the belt, held it for 6 cards. Storm beat Bloody Mary and held the card for 5 cards. And then Scorn beat Storm on card 541 and then held it all the way through the end, and my year ended on card 555. So she's held it she's had a good hold on it since then. And that's a bit of a recap of what happens in Myth Worlds. I was thinking I should make some predictions before tonight. We've had a lot of teasers though, so you're not going to get any surprise predictions. A lot of people are saying that Heracles is going to be the legend that is going to show up. For some reason, I don't think that is going to be. I think it's going to be one of the Greek gods, Actagon or Proteus, and Actagon would make the most sense since he did. It's told in storyline that he did a bunch of time traveling. I could totally be wrong with that. It could be Heracles, but we shall see. Yeah, I'm liking the new card art. The only thing I'm nervous about is the roster size. As soon as I get the new cards, I'm going to try to tonight come up with the roster so that I can get that up online for people. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for a new thing. I do feel that I started playing. It took me a whole year to roll out my 25 cards, and I would like to make that still do 25 cards a year, because that's a good number for me. That works for me, but maybe finish that a little earlier so I can go back to doing more Legends tabletop stuff. But I'm kind of in a weird place with Legends in just what I'm exactly doing with my feds. So we shall see. Anyway, I'm going to turn it back over to Grant now, who's back in the future, and Grant will take it away.
Thank you, Grant. Much appreciated. I hope you have a great time at GalactiCon. Well, let's talk about GalactiCon. As I said, I just got home yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I had a much easier travel situation than I did last year, trying to go to Jamestown. This was much easier to get to the Baltimore airport, much easier to get to the airport to the hotel. But then there was the hotel. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not, well, maybe I am a diva. Maybe I am somebody who has ridiculously high standards. But here's the thing. I spend a lot of nights in hotel rooms. I've been fortunate enough to go on tours. I've been fortunate enough to travel all around the world. And here's the thing. I am not paranoid about bed bugs, but I do not want bed bugs. And even the nicest hotel in the world can have bed bugs. Now, let me just say, before I get going any further, the Spring Hill Suites, Baltimore Airport, as far as I could tell, did not have bed bugs. Okay? So I'm not saying that they had bed bugs. What I'm saying is that when I get into a hotel room, doesn't matter where, if I go to Disney World, if I go to wherever, it doesn't matter. I always, always, always check the bed and the mattress for signs of bed bugs. I just do it because I literally stay several nights out of the year in hotels, and I cannot bring bed bugs back here. So when I got in to the Springfield Suites, I will say that it's not a modern, flashy hotel, but it's a decent hotel. It's very nice. I walked in, the room was very nice. I had no problems with the room, and I went over to check out and see if they had, just to look around the bed. That's what I do. And one of the things I've learned in looking for bed bugs and keeping your eye out for bed bugs is that a lot of hotels will have mattress covers, which are like these, plastic bags. Think of it as a hard plastic sleeve for your Champions of the Galaxy card, but for your mattress. So it is this big bag that the mattress slides into. It gets all zipped up and it keeps the mattress sealed. And there's enough padding on the mattress and the little mattress cover that they put over it where you're not going to feel the plastic under there, and it's not going to be like you're laying on plastic. It's very thin plastic. So when I went to go look in the first room that I was in, I noticed that the mattress cover was all ripped, and so it was not covering the mattress, which, okay, that's, there's no signs of bed bugs. It's no big deal. And so like the mattress cover was sort of half on, half off the mattress. But in seeing that, I saw that the mattress had stains on it. And friends, I just did not want to stay on a mattress with no mattress cover where it had stains on it and all that kind of wonderful, lovely stuff. So I took a picture. I went back to the front desk and I said, "I'm so sorry. Do you have another room?" Because, and I showed her the picture and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And let me just say, Spring Hill Suites, the woman, I don't remember her name, who was working the front desk, nicest lady, just so nice and so accommodating. I have no problem with her. She said, "Oh yeah, well, we're almost sold out tonight, so let me see what I can do." And I said, "Fantastic." And then she said, "Okay, here's your other room. It's upstairs. This is the room. Here it is." And I said, "Okay, great. Thank you." And I went up. I go into this room. It looks amazing. It's even better than the first room. I look around the mattress. Not only is there a mattress cover, this mattress cover has like a little tamper-proof thing where the zipper is, so that if somebody has unzipped the mattress for whatever reason or unzipped the mattress cover, you would be able to tell. That was all still sealed. I was like, this is great. I'm going to stay here. This is fantastic. So I got all my stuff in there. I found that there was food just right across the parking lot. I was like, I'm going to go have some potbelly sandwich, which I had had potbelly before, but it had been a very long time. So I was like, I'm going to go get a Subway sandwich. And so I went over, had a sandwich, came back, was just kind of organizing stuff, my toiletries and all that stuff in the bathroom. And then I was getting ready for bed, and I pulled the sheet back on the mattress, on the bed, and there was a hair, and another hair, and another hair, and these were head hairs. These were hairs from other parts of the body. I don't know what sort of werewolf got into the bed, did a bunch of turns, and then got out of the bed. But I just decided I'm not going to stay here. I'm so sorry. I know that this is the GalactiCon hotel, but I'm not going to stay here. So I started looking, and I found that the Holiday Inn, which was maybe a 10-minute walk, even less away, just right down the street. Had a room available. And so I made a reservation. I went back. I gathered up all my stuff. I went back down to the front desk. I said, I'm so sorry. I can't stay here because there's hairs all over the sheets. She was very, very apologetic. She goes, I completely understand. Don't worry about it. Now, I do have to check if she charged me for one night because I did technically have early checkout, and technically they can charge me for one night. But she did send me a receipt saying I was not charged. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I went down to the Holiday Inn. I went into my room. It was perfect. The sheets were the whitest, crispest sheets, crispest, is am I saying that the right word? Christmas, Merry Christmas. They were crisp white sheets. They were perfect. There was not a hair anywhere. And that room was perfect. So that's where I stayed. So that was Thursday night. Friday morning, I got up, went on a run. On my way back from my run, I saw Troy outside of, I think he was heading in to get something to eat out of, near where the Potbelly is, or Dunkin'. There was a couple other places there. And then I went back to the hotel, just hung out. I think I did a live stream with Toily that day, just chilled out in the hotel room until about 5 or so when I walked back over to the Spring Hill Suites because I wanted to see everybody before they left for the ball game. And then I had sort of organized this little thing to go to Chap's Pit Beef, which is this amazing beef sandwich restaurant in Baltimore. If you've never been, please go because it's awesome if you're not a vegan or anything. So there was a whole group of us that went to Chap's Pit Beef, and that was pretty awesome. I will say, riding with Kevin Mileski driving, he only almost killed us once. So I guess that's pretty good. He could have almost killed us multiple times, but he almost killed us once. But just totally joking. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. We had great beef sandwiches. We went back to the hotel, and then Mike said, well, should we hand out the new sets now? Or should we wait until they get back from the ball game? And of course, we all said, no. So we got our new sets. I did a review, a live unboxing, not a review, but a live unboxing, which you can see on the YouTube channel at solopromoter.com. But I held it. I did it as an unlisted live stream, so nobody was tuned in when I did it live. But then I posted it at 11 a.m. Saturday morning because I just wanted to wait till the con was open. Mike asked me if I would wait, and I said yes, I would do that. But then after I did the unboxing, I had a great chat with Mike Fortune. I've talked to Mike several times at these different events, but I think we sat there and talked for like 25, 30 minutes. We talked about champions. We talked about other things. It was a great time and had a lot of fun doing that. And then we hung out for a little bit Friday night, but then I bailed and went back to the hotel room to get an early start the next morning. So the next morning, tournaments. Let's talk tournaments. My first draw in the Champions of the Galaxy tournament was the new character Django, or Shango, maybe that's how it's said. And I think I lost in the second round, but there were enough spots where I could pull another name, and I pulled Freedom Fighter, and Freedom Fighter went all the way to the end and lost in the final match against Jack Durakis, a.k.a. Loud and Noxious, who had Siege, in perhaps what would become a foreshadowing of what would happen later in the weekend. But I think that is the furthest I've ever gotten in an in-person tournament, so that was really, really great. I did not wrestle in the Indies tournament. I had Mark Henry. No, I had Mark Henry in the low tournament, but I lost in the first round. In the women's tournament, I had Killer Queen, and I think I lost in the second round. I enjoyed the trivia. I placed second. I don't know how I placed second because that was just lucky guessing. And second place was the first loser, so you don't get anything. But it was pretty great, and I didn't realize that I would do that well in the trivia thing. So I guess kudos to me. I enjoyed the Q&A and the all the talkbacks. I enjoyed Tim Storm, and I'm looking forward to getting his sort of career card, his regular card. I don't know if it's a career card, but his regular card, because he will for sure be making a stop in my Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Fed. There was the auction. I won a few items in the auction. I do regret not bidding more for that Champions of the Galaxy book, because I just really wish I would have bid more on that. But that just fired me up more to get the Bruno Sammartino foil card. So that's what I did. Other cool things is Jack Durakis, a.k.a. Loud and Noxious, brought his museum as he usually does, which is always fun to look at. And Pete Beck brought his sort of portfolio of all the original art that he has collected over the years. And that was really, really fun to look through and see a couple pieces that I had at one time owned but donated back so that we could raise more money for the Hall of Fame. So thanks to Jack and thanks to Pete Beck for bringing those things in. After the festivities were over and kind of people broke for dinner and then came back, we watched Night of Champions and then some classic Saturday night's main event matches. And we pretty much called it a night then. Well, I called it a night then. After that, I headed back home. I think there was probably some people staying up a little bit later than that, but I had to walk, the 10 minutes back to the Holiday Inn. So I got a head start on that. Also during the day, throughout the day, I got some great bootlegs, which I'm going to do a separate video about for the channel. So you can keep an eye out for that. On Sunday, I had Mark Briscoe in the All-American tournament, and I lost, I think, in the first round. And then in the Canada Cup, I had Star Warrior, and I was feeling pretty good, but I only won one match. I lost all the other matches, so that was not great, and Star Warrior was not any sort of force to be reckoned with there. I left during the finals of the GalactiCon Cup. After I left for the day and people were leaving, I went back to the hotel. I believe I took a little nap, and then what did I... No. It was before the nap. I went out to the lobby. I hopped in an Uber, and where did I go? Oh, yes, Chaps Pit Beef. I went back, folks, because those sandwiches are so good. I went back to Chaps Pit Beef again on Sunday evening. Then I came home. Then I took a nap. Then I did a live stream with Toily in the early evening. And then after eating all that food and feeling like, oh man, I got to get some more exercise in. And I didn't really exercise other than walking to and from the hotel on Saturday. I'm going to go out for a run. And friends, I went out for a run. On the way back, when I was probably about 5 minutes from the hotel, a light rain started. Not a bad rain where it was, I was just getting drenched, but just like one of those warm summer rains because it was still like 88 degrees outside and this rain. And this was like 8 o'clock at night. And as I'm walking down the Nursery Road, which was the name of the road, there was this area that I had walked past several times where I saw bunny rabbits. There was 2 rabbits, a small one and a big one that would be in this little area. And I saw a little flash, and I thought, oh, that must have been one of the rabbits hopping into the bushes. And then I saw another flash. And then I saw another flash. And then I saw another flash. And I realized for the first time in 51 years, I was seeing fireflies. I had never seen fireflies before. For probably about the past decade or so, I have wanted to see fireflies. When I have gone on tours across the country, when we're in firefly areas, I have been asking, are fireflies out now? Because I'm in California, and we don't, at least where I live and grew up, we don't have fireflies. So I was and this was so great, and I must have looked like an idiot standing in a light rain. It was light rain, but videotaping on the side of an industrial road that leads to the airport, videotaping fireflies. And but it was pretty cool, and it was a really great way to wrap up GalactiCon. And Monday I got up early. I went to the airport. I flew home. I had 2 flights. I flew from Baltimore to Denver, then Denver to Burbank. I had an empty seat next to me the whole time, so you can't really complain much about that. And I had a great time. I had a great time at GalactiCon. I am now back. I am sorting through my cards. I am making my rosters. I am getting ready to play. I have come back very, very excited. I also shot some video that I want to edit together into a little, 3-minute or less video of the GalactiCon experience that I thought was a lot of fun. And I would like to thank Todd and Mike who put it all together and make sure it runs smooth. Todd, thanks for running all the tournaments. And a big thanks to Mike for putting up with my nitpicking about the conditions of cards I receive, even when you hand them to me personally. I apologize about that. And of course, a big thank you to Tom for creating the game. It sure would have been fun to have Tom there, but understand it's a long way to come from Arizona, so I get it. I understand. Already planning to keep my schedule clear for next year. Next year, there is a little bit of talk of it possibly happening in Vegas, so that would work for me. But I'm already keeping my schedule clear so that I can go to GalactiCon no matter where it is, because it's just so much fun. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the show. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow wherever you're listening or watching this. You can check out my personal feds at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. Big thanks again to all the Golden Circle channel members. Golden Circle channel members get access to a video of the recording of these podcast episodes. And yes, even the video of me sitting in my hotel room that you heard the audio from earlier. So if you'd like to become a member of the Golden Circle, just head on over to solopromoter.com. That will take you to the YouTube channel, and then you'll click where it says join. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters. It's used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with any gaming company or their subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. This episode is copyright 2025 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Pachoco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com.